I've been sitting a lot this week with this emotional impact around the murder and the lynching of Tyree Nichols and holding the space for so many others who are trying to process this violence, which is ongoing, right? And thinking about and being reminded of all the ways in which I've been targeted and harassed by police, right? And I was thinking particularly about just kind of growing up in a Black community and how I was never told to distrust or dislike the police, right? No one ever had to tell me to distrust or to dislike the police, because what I saw over and over again was the unfair harassment and targeting of members of my community, which led me to observe how policing couldn't be trusted for my community, right? I think so many of us love to get behind the movement for Black lives, but if you're going to be a real ally, a member of this movement, you also have to be about abolishing all the systems that create this targeting and violence and trauma for communities like mine. Because it's not just Black and brown communities, it's queer communities, it's trans communities, it's poor folks, it's immigrants, right? It's anyone who doesn't embody this ideal of whiteness, right? Of this cis hetero whiteness, which the police as an institution was established to protect, right? The rights and interests of white folks. And this isn't supposed to be a history lesson, because there are so many other people on social media who are doing this really brilliant, amazing work. But I'm just here to let you know that the system, the institution of policing, doesn't give a shit that I'm on my ride. Right? They haven't read my books. They don't love me and like me like many of you do. I am a Black man in America, and I am subjected to the same violence that other Black people, other Black men like Tyree Nichols faces as well, right? I don't believe that I am special enough not to be a victim of police violence, right? And so I'm heartbroken about that, right? But this brokenheartedness isn't new. I didn't just awaken to this today or this week or last week. No, this heartbrokenness has been with me from the get-go, from the very beginning of this life, right? I have known and understood the emotional weight and the emotional labor that I have had to do, from my earliest memories being Black and queer in this culture, right? So I'm committed to abolition, right? I'm committed to abolishing any system that puts people's lives in danger for no reason except to protect the rights and privileges of an elite ruling class of folks, right? So I'm also not putting this video out because I want people to take care of me, to validate me, to offer love and care. I already have that. I have community. I have practices. I am connected to beings who are constantly loving and caring about me. I don't need any of that, but what I do need is for you to get real about this, right? To get real about abolition, to get real about reinvesting, divesting from systems like policing and the carceral state, and reinvesting in organizations, groups, ideas, practices that are about supporting and maintaining the health and the stability of the most marginalized communities, creating, what Dr. King called the beloved community, but what I call the dream of a liberated world, a liberated society, right? I am interested in liberation. right? And I'm interested in getting rid of anything that stands in the way of that liberation, because this liberation is for all of us. It's not just for Black folks. It's not just for the most marginalized. As long as institutions of violence exist, no one's ever going to be free. Like, no one's ever going to be free, right? And this isn't a posting about how much I hate police, right? I haven't said anything. I don't hate the police. I'm disappointed, right? And I am afraid. And because of that, I want something different, right? And I want people to start, all of us, to start thinking about the labor and the work that is going to take for us to bring about a different future where we are held by love and care, that our essential labor isn't to control, and to surveil, but it is to hold and to offer everyone the space for everyone to be themselves, to be their most authentic self, to live freely, to have the resources that they need to be well. That's what I'm interested in, right? And I hope you can join me for that work.